It's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Ed Wilson. He is a professor of English emeritus from Wake Forest University and also provost emeritus.
Thanks. I have selected, can you hear me okay? I have selected passages from 4 different poets who themselves confronted aging and wrote about it. I begin with the poet William Wordsworth. Some of you who remember high school or college English may remember that Wordsworth once wrote a short poem. My heart leaps up when I behold the rainbow in the sky. So was it when my life began. So is it now I am a man. So be it when I shall grow old, or let me die. Well, Wordsworth did grow up, and he found that as the years went by, his heart did not leap up any longer when he saw a rainbow in the sky. In fact, he said in one poem, the rainbow comes and goes. But then he wrote a long poem that we call the Immortality Ode, which I think is one of the best statements about growing old to be found anywhere. Here's what he said. What though the radiance which was once so bright be now forever taken from my sight? Though nothing can bring back the hour of splendor in the grass, of glory in the flower, we will grieve not, rather find strength in what remains behind. In the primal sympathy, in the faith that looks through death, in years that bring the philosophic mind. Thanks to the human heart by which we live, thanks to its tenderness, its joys, its fears, to me, the meanest flower that blows can give thoughts that do often lie too deep for tears. Across the Atlantic, another 19th century poet, Ralph Waldo Emerson, wrote a poem called Terminus. You understand the meaning of that word in this context. And he wrote, it is time to be old, to take in sail. The God of bounds, who sees to sheathe the shore, came to me in his final rounds and said, no more. This is not enough for this and that. Make thy option which of two. Leave the many and hold the few. Timely wise, accept the terms. Soften the fall with wary foot. And then the poet A.E. Housman wrote, "Loveliest of trees." Loveliest of trees, the cherry now is hung with blossom along the bough, and stands about the woodland ride, wearing white for Easter tide. Now, in my 80 years and 10, 20 will not come again. And take from 70 springs a score, it only leaves me 50 more. And since to look at things in bloom, 50 springs are little room. So about the woodlands I will go to see the cherries hung with snow. This is a rather strange little poem, but because of the way it ends, I rather wanted to include it. It's a poem by Leigh Hunt, who most of you would not have heard of, I think. It's called "Jenny Kissed Me." Jenny kissed me when we met. Jumping from the chair she sat on. Time, you thief who loves to get sweets in your list, put that on. Say I'm weary. Say I'm sad. Say that health and wealth have missed me. Say I'm growing old. But add, Jenny kissed me. I work on the college campus, and you know who most of the people on a college campus are. So I've always been drawn to this poem by William Butler Yeats. Looking around where I work. This is no country for old men. The young in one another's arms, birds in the trees, those dying generations at their song. The salmon falls, the mackerel crowded seas, fish, flesh, or fowl, commend all summer long. Whatever is begotten, born, and dies. Caught in that sensual music, all neglect, monuments of unaging intellect. In that country, an aged man is but a paltry thing, a tattered coat upon a stick, unless soul, clap its hands and sing, and louder sing for every tatter in its mortal dress. nor is there singing school for the soul, but studying monuments of its own magnificence. And finally, a poem by the great poet of Chile, Pablo Neruda. You start dying slowly if you do not travel, if you do not read, if you do not listen to the sounds of life, if you do not appreciate yourself. You start dying slowly when you kill your self-esteem, when you do not let others help you. You start dying slowly if you become a slave to your habits, walking every day on the same paths. If you do not change your routine, if you do not wear different colors, or you do not speak to those you don't know, you start dying slowly if you avoid feeling passion and its turbulent emotion. Those things that make your eyes glisten and your heart beat fast. You start dying slowly if you do not change your life when you are not satisfied with it, when you are not satisfied with your surroundings. You start dying slowly if you do not risk what is safe for the uncertain, if you do not go after a dream, if you do not allow yourself, at least once in your lifetime, to run away from sensible advice. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Can you help me down?
Yeah, please.
All right.